The morning of my wedding, my body betrayed me before my mind did. My knees hurt when I stood up from the chair. Not sharply, just enough to remind me that I was 61, not 25, not foolish, not untested. My hands trembled as I fastened the small pearl buttons at the back of my dress, and for a moment I had to sit down again, breathing through it, waiting for my pulse to slow. I told myself it was excitement. I knew better. At this age, fear doesn't announce itself loudly. It slips in disguised as memory. As the stylist adjusted my hair, I caught my reflection and didn't recognize the woman staring back at me. Not because she looked young, she didn't, but because she looked chosen. That was unfamiliar. For 15 years after my first husband died, I had lived as if my purpose had already been used up. Widowhood isn't one long ache. It's hundreds of small learning to open jars alone, sitting through hospital waiting rooms with no one to text updates to, pretending you enjoy holidays because admitting otherwise makes people uncomfortable. The first year after he died, I slept with the television on. The noise helped. Silence felt like proof that I had been forgotten by the world. My son Darius called often then, or rather often enough to claim he did. Short calls, efficient calls, just checking in. Mom, I learned not to say too much. I learned which emotions made him sigh. Loneliness, I discovered, is easiest when you keep it tidy. So when Elias came into my life quiet, attentive, unassuming, I didn't trust it at first. Men my age usually wanted caretakers, not partners, or they wanted admiration without intimacy. Elias wanted conversation, presence, silence that didn't feel punitive. He never tried to fill my life. He simply stepped into it. The venue shimmered that afternoon. Ivory chairs, gold accents, flowers that smelled faintly of citrus. I paid for every detail myself, not to prove anything, but because I needed to know that this choice belonged to me alone. 400 guests filled the room. Friends, colleagues, acquaintances, from decades of surviving. And my son Darius sat in the third row with his wife Tosh, her posture immaculate, her expression alert. She scanned the room the way people do when they're measuring value, not beauty, not joy, but status. I noticed then how tired I was of being measured. Elias stood beside me at the altar in a simple gray suit. His hands were folded tightly, knuckles pale. He was nervous. He never admitted it, but I could tell. When the officiant began speaking, I felt almost calm, almost safe. Then I heard laughter. Not accidental, not quiet. It came from my son's section. My body reacted before my mind did. A tightening in my stomach, a heat behind my ears. The kind of reaction you get when something old is about to repeat itself. I remembered Darius's college graduation, how he barely introduced me to his friends, how he joked about my job when I corrected his resume spelling afterward. Relax, Mom. Nobody cares. I remembered sitting in a hospital chair 3 years ago, asking him for help with the surgery payment, just alone, how he hesitated, how he eventually agreed but asked me to sign something, interest included, just business. Mom, I remembered choosing dignity over argument then, and I remembered how tired that choice made me. The laughter came again, louder. Tashawn leaned toward her mother, whispering without bothering to hide it. I saw the calculation in her eyes, not cruelty, exactly, but fear. Fear that proximity to something ordinary would lower her value. This is embarrassing, Darius said, standing. The room froze. Elias squeezed my hand, not to stop me, but because he was bracing himself. Later, he would tell me he was afraid then, not of them but of the strength he saw rising in me, strength he knew he couldn't soften. This is who you're marrying, Darius continued. Mom, be serious. Tasha stood too. That's not a stepfather, she said lightly. That's a downgrade. Her family laughed, not because it was funny, but because laughter is how insecure people signal loyalty. My chest burned. Not from shame. From recognition. This was the same tone Darius used when he was 15 and embarrassed by my work shoes. The same tone he used when he corrected my pronunciation in restaurants. The same tone that said, you should know your place. Something in me finally refused. I stepped forward. My knees ached. My hands trembled. And for one terrifying second, doubt flickered. What if I'm wrong? What if this destroys everything? Then I thought of 15 silent birthdays, and the doubt burned away. You're right, I said calmly. Someone should tell the truth. The room leaned in. I didn't shout, I narrated. I spoke of working double shifts, of choosing practicality over presence, of how grief made me smaller because I thought that was love. I spoke of loans never repaid, of calls never returned, of being needed only when useful. I felt guilt rise as I spoke, sharp, reflexive. The old instinct to protect him surfaced. I nearly stopped. Then I remembered how it felt to be laughed at, and I finished. When I told them to leave, my voice didn't shake, but afterward when the doors closed I did. I went to the restroom alone and sat on the closed toilet lid, breathing hard, feeling the weight of what I had done settle into my bones. Authority always comes with a price. Mine came in the form of guilt. You're a mother, the voice whispered. You don't exile your child. I stayed there until my pulse slowed. Then I stood up and chose myself again. Elias told me the truth later. Not dramatically, not proudly, almost apologetically. He spoke of money the way one speaks of weather present. Unavoidable, never identity. And as he spoke, I realized something important. The boundary had already been set. Nothing he said changed what I had done that mattered. The months that followed were not clean. Darius called, texted, apologized badly, blamed creatively, tried emotion when logic failed, tried nostalgia when shame didn't work. Once, he cried, really cried. I almost broke. My hand hovered over the phone for a long time that night. Then I remembered how much it cost me to stand up that day, and I didn't dial. Healing wasn't redemption. It was resistance, that slow, uneven, painful. My son failed again before he learned. He tried to shortcut accountability. He tried to use my grandchildren as leverage. That nearly shattered me, but the boundary held thin, trembling, but intact. One evening, a year later, Elias and I sat on the porch listening to the ocean. I still miss him, I admitted. Elias nodded. Missing doesn't mean returning. Inside, the kettle clicked off. Ordinary sound, ordinary peace. Earned. If you stayed with this story, thank you. Some love stories are not about rescue, they are about restraint. Tell me, what country are you listening from? And as always, God bless.